All right, so let's dive into another deep dive. Picture this. You're in Bangkok.
Okay, yeah.
Looking for some cool art. And you find this listing online, right?
Right.
For a solo exhibition by an artist named Josephus Bartin.
Josephus Bartin.
And it's at a rooftop bar.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Now, are you curious?
Definitely. Yeah, a rooftop bar, that's not your typical setting for an art exhibition.
Not at all, right.
That's got me thinking, what kind of art experience is he going for?
Exactly. Is it more like integrated with the city, the nightlife?
Yeah, the social scene, maybe. It makes you think about the audience, too.
For sure. Okay, so let's talk about Josephus Bartin himself.
Okay.
His bio, it's fascinating. He's done like everything. Painting, music, poetry.
Wow.
He's taught, he's coached.
No way.
And get this, he used to work in the corporate world.
That's a wild mix.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So what are your first thoughts about this background?
Well, it says a lot about him, right?
Yeah.
This is someone who's always exploring, always trying new things.
Definitely a creative spirit.
Yeah, and not everyone just leaves the corporate world to chase their art.
You're right. It takes a certain something.
It does. And he moved to Bangkok to do it.
He did. Specifically to follow his passions.
That could be a huge turning point for him artistically.
Yeah. Right. Like he needed a fresh start, maybe.
Absolutely. A new environment can do wonders for an artist.
And you know, speaking of fresh starts, the listing mentions he got his Bachelor's in Fine Arts.
Oh, really?
Majoring in painting from the University of the Philippines, Cebu campus.
Oh, wow. Cebu. Okay.
Yeah. And it even says he volunteered teaching summer art classes in the islands.
That's pretty cool, actually, teaching art.
It is. I wonder if we'll see any of those island vibes in his work now.
That's what I'm thinking. The colors, maybe, or some kind of island influence.
It makes you wonder how his art might have changed since then, right?
Definitely.
Like, is it a world away from what he was doing back in the Philippines?
Totally.
So the event is called Canvas Thursday.
Canvas Thursday.
And it's running for 2 weeks.
Okay.
From September 29th to October 12th, 2016.
All right, so back in 2016.
Back in 2016. So for these 2 weeks, CLA Davao Bangkok becomes an art space.
But it's CLA 6, you know?
Exactly. It's not your average gallery.
No, CLA Session 6, it's all about the views, the upscale feel.
Right, a sophisticated crowd.
Yeah, so maybe Bartin's art is aiming for that same audience.
I see what you mean. It's like he's playing with how we experience art.
Totally. It's not the hushed, reverent gallery vibe.
No, not at all. And then there's the music.
Oh, yeah. What kind of music?
The listing says all shades of house and disco.
House and disco. Okay.
Yeah, spun by DJs Kimball Collins and Alex Zymex.
Those names ring a bell, I think.
Maybe for listeners who are into the house scene, yeah.
Right.
And it's free entry.
Free. Nice.
Cocktail specials.
Even better.
Even pizza delivery.
Whoa, this is sounding more like a party than an exhibition.
It's shaping up to be quite the scene.
It really is. I mean, it's cool that it's accessible, but it makes you think, you know?
About what?
About whether the vibe takes away from the art itself.
That's a good point.
Like maybe some art lovers want that quiet contemplation.
Yeah, the peace and quiet to just take it all in.
Exactly. So it's an interesting choice, for sure.
It is. It makes you wonder about Bartin's intentions.
For sure.
Is he trying to make art more approachable? Or is he playing with the contrast?
Between high art and the underground scene.
Exactly. And then there's the dress code.
Oh, yeah? What's the dress code?
No shorts, sandals, or tank tops.
So it's not exactly casual then.
No, more like art gallery chic.
That's interesting. It's like they're curating a certain image.
Right, controlling the experience.
Yeah, adds another layer to the whole thing.
You're not just seeing art, you're part of something.
Exactly. It's like stepping into a performance.
And speaking of the art, I'm dying to know more about it.
Me too.
But the listing doesn't give us any specifics.
Oh, man.
No details about his style or themes.
So we're left to wonder.
We have all these clues.
Yeah, his bio, the venue, the music.
But the art itself is a mystery.
It's like we're missing the final piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. And that's where it gets really interesting.
It does. We're trying to understand his art without actually seeing it.
We are. So what do we know so far? What can we infer?
Okay, so we know he's a multi-talented artist, right? Diverse background.
Yeah, and he's looking for a fresh start in Bangkok.
Exactly. And he's chosen this unconventional venue, this upscale rooftop bar.
And he's mixing art with music, nightlife.
It suggests he's pushing boundaries, you know, challenging how we think about art.
So the big question is,
Yeah,
what kind of art would a person like that create?
that's what we need to find out.
And that's what we'll be exploring in the rest of this deep dive. We're like art detectives,
I like that.
trying to crack the code before we've even seen the art.
We have the pieces, but not the whole picture.
It's true. We have his bio,
The venue,
the music.
but the art itself.
It's a mystery.
And that's what makes it so exciting.
It does, doesn't it?
It sparks your curiosity.
It really does.
Makes you wonder.
What will it be like?
Abstract, figurative.
Bold, subdued.
Will it be colorful, reflecting Bangkok?
Maybe. Or maybe something totally different.
Maybe it'll be influenced by his corporate life.
You think so?
Possibly, sharp lines, geometric shapes.
A commentary on consumerism, even?
It's possible artists draw inspiration from everywhere.
That's true.
But let's not forget his teaching background.
Yeah. The community work.
Maybe there's a social message in his art.
Or maybe he's using it to connect with people in Bangkok.
That would be interesting.
So many possibilities.
It's exciting.
It's 2016.
Back then.
Yeah, when this exhibition happened.
It makes you wonder how his art has changed since then.
Maybe this was a turning point for him.
Or just one step in his journey.
It raises a good question. How we see art in a historical context. Like, if we saw this art for the first time today.
Knowing what we know now.
Exactly.
Would we see it differently?
Would it still have the same impact?
That's a really good question.
It makes you think about how art evolves.
And how our understanding of it changes.
It does.
But even without hindsight.
We can still learn a lot.
From what we know,
We can.
deep dive.
It's not just about consuming information.
It's about actively engaging with it.
It is trying to understand the artist,
Their motivations.
their choices.
Exactly.
So let's shift gears for a second.
Okay.
We've talked about Bartin,
The event.
but what about you, the listener?
Why should they care?
Exactly. What's the takeaway?
If you're thinking of checking out this exhibition,
Why should you?
well, first of all, it's art in a non-traditional setting.
It's not your typical gallery.
So you might experience the art differently.
You mentioned the rooftop,
The music,
cocktails.
it all adds to the experience.
It becomes a sensory thing. Second, it's a chance to discover a new artist.
Josephus Bartin.
Maybe you'll love his style.
Be inspired by his story.
Or just enjoy seeing something new.
You never know what you'll connect with.
And third, it's a reminder that art is about experiencing
Not just observing.
this event,
It's about the atmosphere.
the social interaction.
The vibe.
Yeah, it all comes together.
Which brings us back to that question.
About
Does mixing art with nightlife enhance it?
or detract from it.
Can you appreciate art with all those distractions?
That's a tough one.
It is.
No easy answer.
It depends on the person,
The artwork.
the context.
It's worth thinking about.
It is.
And I think Bartin is playing with those ideas
Intentionally.
by choosing that venue,
The music.
the nightlife aspect,
He's making us think differently.
about art.
Exactly.
So to wrap up this part, I want
Yeah.
to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
Imagine you're at this event.
In Bangkok,
The skyline is glittering.
the music is pulsing.
You're surrounded by people.
Yeah. And then you see it.
A canvas by Josephus Bartin.
What do you feel?
What do you see? I can practically feel the energy just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's a really cool mix of everything.
Art, music, the city at night.
And at the heart of it all is Josephus Bartin.
This artist who's brought it all together.
This whole thing has got me thinking
Talk about
how this event kind of reflects a bigger trend.
in the art world.
Exactly, this blurring of lines between art and other stuff.
Art and life, basically.
Right, like art isn't stuck in museums anymore.
And it's everywhere.
On the streets, in random places.
Online even.
Yeah. And that's kind of exciting, don't you think?
I do. It makes art more approachable,
Definitely, it's less intimidating.
It makes you question what art even is.
Where it belongs, who it's for,
It makes you think.
for sure. But it also brings up some new questions.
Like what?
Does the setting change how we see art?
If you see a painting in a club with people dancing.
Does it hit you the same way as in a quiet museum?
That's a good question.
I don't think there's an easy answer.
It depends.
On the person, the art, the whole situation.
It's definitely worth thinking about, though.
It is, and I think Bartin's doing that on purpose.
Playing with those ideas.
Yeah, the rooftop bar, the music, the whole vibe.
He's making us reconsider art.
It's like a conversation.
Between the art, the space, the people.
Exactly. That's what makes this event so interesting.
So we've come to the end of our deep dive.
Into Canvas Thursday.
We've looked at Bartin's background,
The venue.
the whole art meets nightlife thing.
We've talked about his style, his motivations,
But in the end,
the meaning of his art.
it's up to each person to decide.
Art is personal. It speaks to everyone differently.
So if you were at this event,
What would you be looking for?
what would catch your eye?
Would it be the excitement of the place?
The people.
Or would you just focus on the art?
Trying to figure out Barton's message.
There's no right answer.
It's about your own experience.
That's the beauty of art.
It makes you think, explore, discover.
So get out there and experience it.
Be open-minded. Follow your curiosity.
And who knows?
Maybe you'll find your new favorite artist.
That's always a possibility.
And until next time.
Keep diving deep.